Hey everyone and welcome back to another episode of what makes this game awesome. So a couple of weeks ago, Little Nightmares had its first DLC released, called something like Secrets of the Maw, The Depths, I think. And so I've played through it and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. So this is going to be a much shorter video than what I'd normally do. And I'm not going to be doing like a proper rating at the end. I just wanted to let you know my thoughts on the DLC and what it's like. As a heads up, there are going to be spoilers throughout, so go ahead and hit the I for a link to my original review if you haven't already seen it, but I would still recommend playing the game before you watch this. So first up, and the first thing I'm covering because it's kind of the most important with DLC, how much shit do you actually get for what you pay? Well, this DLC that they're releasing is actually in 3 parts, so each part I was hoping would be around 2 or 3 hours. And I was kind of disappointed with what we ended up getting. During my fairly relaxed playthrough of the chapter, I got about 1 hour's gameplay from it, which really isn't enough to warrant buying this DLC by itself. To put it into context, the individual DLCs cost around £4 each, or $5, and the group of DLCs that you can buy, which gives you access to all of them, costs like £8 or $10, so it really makes sense to buy them all at once, but like, there wasn't very much content for spending that much. You don't even get like half an hour's content per pound that you pay, which, you know, I kind of would expect that from DLC, especially from a game so like well made as Little Nightmares. I think they could have afforded to do that. So I do really hope that the other chapters that they're going to release are longer, but I was reading the official post by the team. From the looks of it, they're not going to be. That aside, what's the actual content like though? Well, if you enjoyed the original game, then you'll definitely like this. It plays from the point of view of a different character called the Runaway Kid, which really isn't very catchy, so I'm just gonna call him Kid. You wake up in the room where you first meet the librarian as Six, and leave the room traveling in the opposite direction to what you do in the standard game, which is pretty cool. Kind of refamiliarizes you with everything and connects the chapters very well. Kid has a torch instead of a lighter that you get about a quarter of the way into the chapter, and while it does a similar job, I do want to quickly say that I don't like it as much. It feels harder to understand your surroundings because the light is directional and Six's lighter kind of lets you light up the whole environment. That said, it still gets the job done pretty well and it still retains the amazing look of the original game. All the environments still look really atmospheric, still have those amazing highlights on the water, and still feel just as cool as the first time I played through it. I feel that despite the pretty small amount of content, they did definitely succeed in what they were trying to do. Create a genuine feeling of unease around the water in this game, and set up the story and environments for the next 2 DLC chapters. The core gameplay is basically exactly the same as the original game, but the puzzles are mostly water-based. After chasing after a girl who definitely isn't Six, but I have no idea who she is, hopefully that gets explained later, you'll start off swimming through water and feeling like something should go wrong soon. And then as the granny starts to chase you through the water, it gets very stressful. I'd say it definitely recreates the tension in the original game. The slug thingies from the previous game are also upgraded in this DLC, allowing them to move faster in the water, which adds some unexpected surprises when you see them again. And having to manage their movement to walk around the water, it's pretty cool and it stops it feeling too repetitive. The actual environment that this chapter is based in is pretty cool. It lets you adjust the water level in the place using levers, which is often necessary to solve the puzzles. The puzzles in this one are very interesting, and I do genuinely like lots of them because they allow lots more freedom with the solutions. One of the puzzles had a weird hitbox on the door's closing animation that killed me after I slid under the door, but apart from that I had no issues with the game that weren't my own fault. As you continue through the chapter, you learn that the granny will actually knock you off things if you stay still too long, which took me by surprise, and adds a very new kind of pressure to complete each room, and I enjoy this lots. I'm not sure if it's better than being able to take your time to sneak around, but it changes up the gameplay and makes it more like action-based, which is much better than just reselling the same content, so fair play. This last puzzle is the most fun, and quite a satisfying conclusion for the puzzles, having to use the platforming that you've learnt through the game, as well as some kind of creative but still fairly obvious solutions of going full toaster in the bathtub and killing the granny like that. Pity I can't say the same about the ending of the chapter. You climb up the stairs just past that room, climb up a ladder, and walk right into the librarian's hands. I will say I did this ending a couple of times, and at first I was convinced that there must be a way to avoid it, and then I thought that I'd just gotten a bad ending and taken a wrong turn somewhere. But no, this is actually the end to the chapter. They then show this cutscene, which is also shown in 6's story, of you getting dragged away in your cage by the librarian. It's actually a pretty cool way to set up for the chapter, and it kind of slightly links it into 6's story, but it just felt a bit anticlimactic. So, what do I think about the DLC so far? Well, from playing this chapter, I really have no idea how good the other 2 chapters are going to be. From what I've read, they should be about the same length, but should gradually get harder as you play through them, which, you know, that's good, that's what I'd expect. So, you can probably come to expect between like 3 and 5 hours for a total playthrough of all 3 of these DLCs, depending on how hard they get. I'd say 3 would be a bare minimum, but I would really hope that they go the extra mile and make it, you know, definitely more than that. So, is it worth the money? Well, provided that they actually do add a little bit more content every time, and the puzzles do gradually get more difficult, yeah, it's not terrible value for money. If you buy the pack of all 3 DLCs, I think it could well be worth it, and especially if you enjoyed the original game, then yeah, it might be something you want to look into. Honestly though, I imagine a big meat of the storyline will be in the 3rd chapter, because in this one, there was very little storyline actually elaborated on, and I know that the storyline in the original game is kind of vague anyway, but like, I was kind of disappointed. I expected at least a little more, and we were just kind of thrown into the game, which, you know, it's fair enough. I just, I hope that they elaborate on it a bit in the next chapter. Don't just leave it all until the 3rd one to drop something big on you. So, I guess as a final rating, if you enjoyed the original game a lot, then yeah, you should get this. It's good, the puzzles are interesting, I enjoyed it. Obviously I've only played the 1st chapter, and I will be reviewing the other 2 chapters when they come out. So I'll only know for sure once I've reviewed those. But just remember, if you do decide to buy the big pass that gives you access to all of them, there will be a kind of excruciating wait between each one. And one thing that I wanted to see was how this story ties into the story of 6 in the original game. And they really haven't given much information on that. They have said that it's kind of our job to do that, which I disagree with, but from the sounds of it, that's going to fall to us. So hopefully Game Theory or someone does something on it, or I'm going to end up drawing shitty MS Paint diagrams to demonstrate it myself. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe to see more stuff from the channel. Also, let me know what you think about the DLC so far in the comments. Of course, there isn't that much to go off, but just let me know if you enjoyed the chapter, or what your thoughts on it, or maybe if you've even started to piece some storyline together. Also, make sure to check out my social stuffs to stay updated with the show, links on screen now and in the description. Thank you so much for watching, I'll see you in the next review, so see you there.